I'd now like to invite up CEO of the Brisbane Lions, Greg Swann, and Chris Fagan up to have a few words.
Thanks, Nathan. Not sure the shirt looks that good on me, but anyway, it's a great initiative. So yeah, obviously on behalf of the Lions, it's fantastic to when Adrian and Jody we spoke, and obviously our staff have spoken about the partnership. It is it's a cause that we're really committed to. Obviously, we've got Indigenous players in our team with Cedric Cox, Alan Christensen, Ali's here as well from our women's team. So it's a great partnership. It's something that, as Adrian touched on, it's an issue for everybody, and hopefully we can help with people coming, getting health checks, and then for us to also work, with diets and things like that that we can make a contribution to as well. So it's a great partnership, something that we've implemented over the last few months and something that we'll expand on. Just touching on something else as well, we're actually getting the guys from Deadly Choices to come and talk to our people about Aboriginal culture, all the things that are happening around that, and around obviously the healthy Deadly Choices and all the things that flow from that. So it's a really good education for our 40 young men and the 40 women that will be doing both sets of our team. So it's a great initiative and something that we're really proud to be part of. So honoured to be here today, and it's a fantastic building. Haven't been in here before. It's actually might have to have a look at the designs when we build our new facility. It's pretty flash, and it's a great place. And obviously the work that goes on behind closed doors is the most important thing. But we're just honoured to be part of it, and we're really rapt to hopefully make a difference as we go forward. That's the main thing. So I'll pass on to Chris.
Thanks,
about
Chris.
footy.
Yeah. I'd just like to say too, ultimately your health is everything, and for a long time now the health of the Indigenous people of our country has been an issue, so it's great that our club can partner up and be of assistance in what is a really worthy cause. Questions about the game, boys?
Yeah, you can ask a couple of those first of all. Greg, is there a way that, aside from awareness, how will the club be able to help the cause, or is awareness the main?
Look, I think awareness is, even these tops that we've got on, they're based on the Indigenous jumper our Indigenous round jumper that we wore, and it was, I'm not sure if there was a vote on it, but we thought ours was the best, and I think if there was a vote we would have won it. We had it was a great jumper, so the designs from that are incorporated into here, but it is primarily about awareness. But we already run a whole lot of community programs, whether it's through schools, out at local footy clubs and things like that. So every time we go out, we can talk about these issues and make it front of mind in the community. That's really what it's about. So that'll be our main job, working in partnership here. But as Adrian touched on, it's already working. So we want to add a bit of cream on top and make sure that it's prevention's better than treating post, and that's the thing that we're looking to do.
This is separate from your Indigenous. You're not actually wearing this one on the field, are you?
No, we're not at the moment. No, we look to do something hopefully next year. People have asked the significance of number 17. It's just the year 217, so there's a different jumper every year. But this is again something that we'll be taking out and giving to the community. All the boys at the club will get one. We've got so these will again hopefully promoting awareness and for a great cause as Chris touched on.
Greg, can I just ask you a footy-related question? We've got 6 games to go.
Yep.
As the man at the top, what's your assessment of the season so far?
I think we're really encouraged by where it's been. We've got 4 of our last 6 at home, so obviously starting this weekend against Carlton. For everybody that's been involved in the club, there's been gradual improvement. I said early in the season, it was funny, we'd lost 9 games in a row, but it was the happiest footy club I've been in. Like, there was no whinging or bitching or finger pointing, because we knew that we were gradually getting better and the results would come. And so obviously since the break, we beat Fremantle, we beat Essendon. We've played really good teams in the last few weeks, top 4 teams, and we've been competitive. And I think with and the blooding of the younger kids as well, and our old guys are obviously leading the way. But there's a real excitement about it, and obviously with 6 games to go, we think we're really improving, and hopefully these next 6 games set us up to go into next year, really looking to make a significant improvement and rise up the ladder.
Despite the improvement, you are still 3 wins and
Yeah.
you're anchored sort of towards the bottom there.
Yep.
If the end of the season comes and you're still in that position, would you consider requesting other priority pick?
Nah, look, I think that'll take care of itself. Even when we did apply for one last year, it was post the season, so we'll see what happens. I mean, we're not putting any pressure on Chris, but 6 to go, we might win them all, and then we won't get a priority pick. So let's worry about that when it happens. So yeah.
The AFL spending a lot of money on the Suns. Are they doing enough to keep the Lions going?
Oh yeah, no, they are. We've got a really good relationship with the AFL, and they're a partner of ours, as are a lot of other people. Obviously, Deadly Choices are now, and our major sponsors with Vero and Hyundai. We've got good corporate support, and we've got good backing from the AFL. So no, we don't want for anything at the moment. We're pretty good.
It is tough though, running an AFL team in Queensland where you've got to bring players from interstate.
Yeah, but look, even in my time here, we had 4 Queenslanders on our list. Now we've got 15. We want to be a club that people come to. Doesn't matter what your background is, whether you're Victorian, South Australian. Cedric's from Halls Creek, which everybody has to look that up on the map where that is. Not too many people have been there, but we've got people from everywhere, and so long as we've got a good culture at the footy club, we think they'll stay. And with all the recent signings we've had, it's a pretty good indicator that everybody does want to stay. And so we've made some inroads there as well with just what we do with our welfare, obviously the coaching staff, just the environment, and probably the players can talk about that better than I can. But you can tell that it's a lot better, and that's, I think, the proof is in all the re-signings that we've had.
Yeah, sort of mentioned your possible new facility a little while back. Can you give us an update on
look, we've got a commitment. We will be going to Springfield, so we've got a commitment from the council there. We're waiting on. We've got some submissions in with the state government, which are hopefully being reviewed in the coming month or so. So once all that's done, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, but it's really shaping up to be. Hopefully have an announcement, before the end of the season anyway, about how that's all going to work and when it'll happen and the funding and all that sort of stuff.
That's pretty exciting, isn't it? This has been something that's been going on.
Yeah, it's it. Well,
before you came.
It has been before I came, but it's been 3 years since I've been here. It's a bit of a stone in our shoe, but sometimes these things take time, and ultimately it's all about the funding because we don't have spare cash flying around, so we need assistance from councils and governments and at this stage it's looking really positive. It'll be a facility that primarily will obviously house both the men's and women's, but it'll allow us to play our women's team in a stadium that is suitable for it, and obviously with grandstands and seatings and banking and things that holding between 10 and 15,000 people. So South East Queensland needs that sort of facility, not only for us but probably even for the Quaffle and anybody else. It'll be obviously utilised by the community as well. So it's a good project, and hopefully, as I said, it'll be resolved by the end of the season. Thanks, boys.
Should have just about done, shouldn't we?
Sorry.
Well done, Swann. That was fantastic.
Easy.
Well, the coach reckons you're going to win 6 on the trot.
The CEO. I was going to say the coach didn't say that. No, we're just out to do our best each weekend and try and improve. So that's always been our focus.
Carlton's at your end of the ladder, I guess, so it's important to sort of get those ones close to you, I guess. Yeah,
well, they've been on their journey just a little bit longer than we have, I guess. They sort of started last year under Bolts, and they're a little bit more progressed than what we are. But we'll certainly be trying our best to beat them on the weekend and put in a great performance.
Chris, does it give you a vote of confidence that while the results aren't coming, head of house can see the improvement?
Yeah, Swanee and I talk regularly about the progress of the team, and he's massively supportive of what we're doing in the football department and understands where we're trying to take the team. So it's good that he will come out and say that publicly for sure.
Is 3 wins a reflection on where you're at? I mean, you've had some pretty good games.
Yeah, we sort of don't measure ourselves on wins. We measure ourselves on quarters won, and we've already won more quarters this year than we won last year. We measure ourselves on how long we can stay in games against really good teams, and we've been able to do that quite consistently this year, except for probably Port Adelaide back in round 6 and maybe Geelong a few weeks ago, albeit we were competitive in the first quarter. So on those sorts of measures, I think that's important to our supporters. I think they can all see what we're trying to do, and every week we put out a really young team. Like last week there were 4 first-year players, 4 second-year players. There aren't too many other AFL teams. In fact, there are no other AFL teams that are doing that currently. So, our form's going to ebb and flow a little bit, but we're on the right track, and what we're doing is all about the long term, not the short term.
Carlton they're at your end of the ladder, but they present a pretty different challenge. They play quite structured, they're very disciplined. Like, how do you see them this week?
Yeah, that's a style of play that they've evolved over the years, but fundamentally we'll just be going out to play our way and not get too caught up in what they're doing. I think we tend to play better when we focus on what we do.
Any team changes or injuries?
Well, we train tonight, so obviously there'll be one because Nick Robertson is out suspended, and I think it looks like Darcy Gardner's going to be okay to play, so he's probably a logical replacement for Nick.
Just on Nick, Dane said earlier in the week he's probably just got to learn to tread that line a bit. Have you said anything to Nick this week, or how have you sort of resolved that?
No, I haven't said anything to him. He really came and had a chat to me and thought he probably just went a little bit over what was acceptable, and he'll take his punishment on the chin. He's been a fantastic player for us this year, a real warrior and a real competitor, and we'll look forward to having him back in the team.
Why has Alex Witherden been able to fit in so quickly and adapt so quickly, do you think?
It's hard to say. He's got a lot of belief in himself, which I think helps. He's hungry to be the best that he can be. He's a real student of the game. For those of you who don't know him, he really studies his opponents, and we often have good coaching chats. He's sort of beyond his years. So in some ways he's a very mature young man, so it's no surprise that he's been able to come out and play so well. I mean, to have four of your first games, 20 plus possessions in such an elite competition is an outstanding effort, and he deserves his nomination this week for Rising Star. I'm really hopeful that we might be able to get a couple more boys up before the end of the year and add to that total of 3 that we've got at the moment.
And you put like a bit of responsibility. I don't know if it's your decision, but allowing him to do the kick-ins, that's a pretty big responsibility for a kid so young.
Yeah, it is. I chatted to him about it and asked him whether he wanted to do it, because we noticed he's particularly good at it in the knee fall, and Alex is one to like a challenge and wanted to take that on board. So, he studies opposition zones each week, and he knows where perhaps the weaknesses and the holes might be, and he tries to exploit them. So, good on him for having the confidence to take on that responsibility.